People are calling Mercy one of the worst movies ever. Bad acting, terrible story, and should have never made it into the movies. And to be honest, Libby and I totally disagree. I'm your host, Aaron Haig, and on her laptop today is...
your other host, Libby Collins.
And welcome back to the
Forget the Critics podcast.
All right, today we're going to be reviewing the new movie Mercy as well as Return to Silent Hill. But before we get into that, let's kick it off with our 2026 movie rankings. We once again is going to be getting 5 movies. She's not going to know what comes next, and she's going to have to rank them on 1 being, I really want to watch it, 5 being, ooh, that doesn't sound good at all. All right, so let's get into it. I'm going to pull up my notes here, and then it's going to be a little bit different because Libby's in college now. We're hoping to get some episodes here. Some of them are going to be on the computer, but we're going to try our best to do this. First movie is going to be Clayface. Comes out September 11th, 2026. All right, you ready for this overview, Libby? It follows an up-and-coming actor whose face is disfigured by a gangster, leading him to turn to a scientist whose treatment transforms him into a shape-shifting monster. Another overview I pulled too is this shape-shifting monster creature made by a magical clay haunts Gotham City, alternating between villain and an ally of Batman. Basically, this movie is going to be an interesting horror-type DC film, which has never been seen before. But yeah, so this guy in the movie is a literal actor whose face gets disfigured, turns to a scientist to try and get some treatment, and ends up becoming Clayface, who is a shapeshifter.
It doesn't really look like it would be very scary.
You don't think so?
No, like the green guy doesn't look scary, but I guess the other 2 pictures make it look more scary.
Yeah, but it's true. What are you putting this at?
I don't think it sounds that interesting, honestly. I'm gonna put it in my 3 spot.
Okay. All right. Supergirl is the next movie. Supergirl comes out June 26, 2026. The 2026 Supergirl movie, part of the new DC universe, follows a more hardened anti-hero, Kara Zor-El, on an interstellar quest for vengeance after Krypton's destruction, teaming up with a younger warrior named Ruthie to hunt down killers, exploring darker themes of justice and drama, diverging from Superman's brighter origins as established in the Woman of Tomorrow comic storyline. So this actually is going to be following the new DCU, that new Superman movie that just came out. There was a spoiler of Supergirl in the end, but basically the difference is Superman, his story was he was sent off his home. Their home world is called Krypton. He was sent off of Krypton before it had blown up, whereas it sounds like Supergirl actually had watched her own planet explode, which I assume means she's older than Superman, but I'm not 100% sure on the backstory of Supergirl. But so yeah, she has to struggle like this dark past of seeing her home explode, her home planet explode. I guess she, struggles with different, like there's different ways for superheroes to get their high, I suppose. So she finds her own way and is kind of like always trying to find a way to just like forget what's happened, and it's kind of like a darker version of Superman. And I'm actually like super interested to see this.
Yeah, I agree. That sounds interesting. I probably would put that at my number 2 spot.
Okay. And I'm curious too, because I'm looking at these pictures. That guy that looks like a clown, he is actually Aquaman. So he's in this movie too. And then also I thought you'd like this, Libby, but there is a super dog. So that dog on the screen has superpowers. Actually, he's supposed to be stronger than Superman. So that's pretty funny.
Really? That's so cute.
Yeah. All right. Where are you putting that movie?
Still in my number 2 spot.
Oh, I didn't even hear you say that.
Oh, yeah, I said that. I said it sounds interesting, and I'm going to put it in my number 2 spot.
She's getting sassy. Still in my number 2.
You're just a bad listener.
Oh, probably. Okay, you ready for the next one?
Yeah.
All right. It's called The Mummy. Comes out April 17th, 2026.
Wait, did you change the picture?
Good catch.
Hold your horses.
There it is. Whoop. Spoiler alert. All right, so The Mummy comes out April 17, 2026. The young daughter of a journalist disappears into the desert without a trace. 8 years later, the broken family is shocked when she is returned to them, as what should be a joyful reunion turns into a living nightmare. So another horror movie, I suppose.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. That's all that they give you for the description?
Yeah.
I can't I can't tell if it looks like it's gonna be really bad. Look at that guy in the bottom left.
Oh, okay. So that picture from the bottom left, you talking about the way the mummy looks?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, so that actually isn't from this movie. There are three other The Mummy movies. There's one from 1999, 2000,
Oh.
1997, 1999, 2001, something like that.
Okay.
I've actually watched those movies, and that's what that picture is from. And I wasn't sure if this was a part of that or like some build off, and I guess it's not. So this is completely different. But I just put that
Okay.
picture in it. That was funny.
Okay. I'm gonna put this in my number 4 spot.
Okay.
It's not
Number 4.
it's not grabbing my interest as much as the other ones.
That's quite interesting. All right. You ready for the next one? Okay. Here it is. It's called Shelter. I'm actually curious on what people think about this because Jason Statham, or however you say his name, I've heard that people don't really like him as an actor. Like, for instance, my dad, it's like, I hate him as an actor. He's just always the same. He's not good at acting. So I'm curious. Movie's called Shelter. It actually came out 2 days ago, but I'm still just going to talk about it because it's a 2026 movie. But here it is. Michael Mason is the character, a former government assassin living in isolation on a Scottish island, rescues a young girl from the sea. The conflict, this act of kindness exposes his location to his former agency called the Black Kites, forcing him to fight off attackers to protect himself and the girl. And I suppose this was a TV show as well, and they made a movie out of it. It, in theory, I think it sounds interesting.
Yeah, I'm very intrigued by that. Why do you think he's hiding from his agency anyways?
I don't know. It could be like a living in isolation. Maybe he just wanted to retire.
Maybe he
I don't
did
know.
something wrong, like he wasn't supposed to do something, and then he's in trouble. I
Could
think
be.
that
It
sounds
could be
very,
like
very interesting.
that does. Have you ever seen the Jason Bourne movies?
I don't think so.
Well, when it comes to those movies, like the Bourne Identity, he loses his memories, and so it's like a trained assassin is just on the loose. But where did you
Yeah.
say you were putting this?
I think I'll put it in my number 1 spot.
Number 1. Okay.
Yeah, I think that sounds very interesting.
All right. You see that?
Is that JJ from Outer Banks?
It sure is. When I saw this, I was like, wait, this could be good. So it's
Yeah.
called Reminders of Him, comes out March 13th, 2026. After prison, Kenna, which is the girl, returns to her hometown to get her daughter back, but faces intense opposition from the child's grandparents. She connects with Ledger, the best friend of her deceased boyfriend, leading to a complicated secret romance. Based off of a Colleen Hoover book. I'm seeing JJ on my screen, so maybe it's good. I don't know.
Yeah, I bet it is gonna be good, which kind of sucks because I have to put that in my number 5 spot. I'm actually really excited to see that. When did you say it comes out?
March.
We have to wait a
Yeah,
little while to see it.
yeah, you do. I'm a little confused though because I was looking at pictures of this movie, and I'm not even sure if JJ, like the only reason I'd be interested in this movie is because of JJ. I'm pretty sure his name is Rudy, but I think that he's not even the love interest of this story, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know, but I didn't actually like read the whole like cast and who's who. I just saw pictures of the girl with some other guy and they were kissing. So I wonder if like maybe he's that ex-boyfriend, or maybe if he's like some sort of like, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. Never read the book, so not sure how that works.
Yeah. Oh well.
But it sounds very interesting.
All right, you ready to get into the meat and potatoes?
Yes, I am.
Okay, let's do it. So,
All right, let's do it.
let's start off with Mercy. Libby and I had watched this movie yesterday. Was it?
No, 2 days ago.
2 days ago. And So going into Mercy, I wanted to have like a good mind about it because I've heard like really terrible things about it. It shouldn't have made it to the theaters. Chris Pratt sucks, stuff like that. Terrible story, and we literally thought the complete opposite.
Mhm.
Let's go ahead and start with our positives. The number one thing on my positive list was the movie kept me engaged the entire time.
Mhm. Yeah, that's true.
I mean, I can go down the list. I wrote so many things. Chris searching through all the evidence was very intriguing. There was like this there was so much for him to go off of, and it all like made sense and clicked. So when you're watching the movie, you're actually trying to figure out in your head too. Make it make sense, you know?
Yeah, when you're watching, you're literally like you're solving the puzzle with him, and that's very entertaining. Like it kept you locked in the whole time.
Yeah. And because it seemed like he was guilty, it was like a very good balance where it seemed like he was guilty the entire time, but there was always that sliver of wait. There's another possibility here. And I thought that was very good because it always kept me on my toes.
Yeah, I agree. I knew from the start that he wasn't guilty. Like I had full faith in him that he was being framed for something. Like I knew he didn't do that.
Did you like the AI girl or were you like trying to get her off the screen?
No, I liked her. Well, okay, at the start, before I kind of got her figured out, I was like annoyed with her because I was like, is she actually AI or is AI just giving like a real woman like a script, you know?
Yeah, I was also wondering that too because I was like, is this woman AI or is she just reading? Yeah, I was also wondering that.
Yeah.
Uh, but to continue, Chris Pratt's acting to me seemed good. I mean, the beginning where he was freaking out because he like didn't understand what was going. I mean, you see him
Mhm.
cry multiple times. It seems real. It doesn't seem fake
Mhm.
to me. I mean,
I
the
agree.
anger.
Yeah, I
So
agree. And he like the anger, the confusion, and like the determination, like every time he ran into a dead end with like his evidence, he was
yeah,
very determined. He's like, "No, there's gotta be a way around this. Like, I didn't do this."
yeah, I agree. And it was very balanced because he wasn't the entire time determined to find the truth. At one point, he was kind of accepting his defeat. He was like, he's like, I probably did it. And he was like, it only makes sense. Like, I'm an alcoholic. He's like, I had anger issues. He's like, I probably did do it. And then you actually see this is another positive that I put down is you had liked how the AI was glitching and seeming more human the more emotion that Chris
Mhm.
was putting in. And
Yeah.
that happened in that scene.
Yeah, it like, she literally would start malfunctioning because he would ask her such a deep question. He'd be like, "Do you not feel like this is wrong? Like, this doesn't make sense?" And she'd be like, actually, she would start tweaking.
Literally. And I think this is such a great time for this movie to come out too, with all the different like technology changing right now in the world, with like all the AI out there. I mean,
Mhm.
all of this stuff is could be pretty possible in a few years, you know?
Mhm.
Could be scary to think about too at the same time. Cause I mean, who knows?
Yeah, I think that is scary because this movie showed in real life, I think it would be very difficult to convince an AI system that you are not guilty of a crime when all the evidence is completely pinning the blame on you. And
Yeah.
I think the only reason he could even sort through all the evidence so well and he knew what questions to think about and all that is because he's a detective. If he was a
Yeah.
regular guy, I think he would have been cooked, like, he would not have been able to get himself out of that situation.
That's actually a great point because what if you're just a regular person sitting in that chair? And I think that was
Mhm,
kind of one of the points that it was trying to get across. For instance, like David Webb, he was the guy that he was the first victim to the Mercy trials. Yeah,
mhm.
I mean, dude was just homeless. He didn't know how to do any of that,
Yeah,
and they only give you 90 minutes, which is crazy. Like some trials last years.
yeah. That's also yeah, I wasn't a fan of the system, but it was like I think it was very eye-opening for them, especially after seeing how Jack, the cop, like
Yeah.
totally screwed over. She
Yep.
screwed over David Webb, right?
Yes, she did.
She like withheld information she knew about his
Hmm.
case, and obviously that was very wrong of her, but I think it was like
Yeah.
interesting to see someone like beat the system and then everyone realized maybe the system has more flaws than what they originally thought.
Yeah. That's a great point. And going along with like Jackie was she there was a point in the movie where she was kind of like going through the house looking at, I have this down as a negative for her. She was starting to piss me off during this movie because she was like going through the house and Chris was like, I only got 90 minutes, and she's like, yeah, man, this looks bad. Like, no crap, this looks bad. Like, you're on the mercy trial, which means you don't actually get on the mercy trial unless it's like almost a, guaranteed that you're guilty.
Yeah.
I was like, bro, you don't need to be telling me this doesn't look good. I already know it looks good. I'm strapped down to a chair right now with an AI telling me that I'm about to be killed in 90 minutes. You don't got to tell me it looks
Yeah.
bad. Okay.
I
Just walk
know.
me through the house and let me figure it out. So that was already so sus of her.
Yeah, she needed to like follow her orders better because you would think that weren't they partners?
I think they were partners after his original one had died.
Oh, yeah. So you would think that like she would want her partner to not get killed, not be found guilty. Like you would think she would do anything and like trust him when he's like, I didn't
Exactly.
do this, like you gotta help me. That was sus.
I'm kind of surprised. I wonder what you think about this. How she sabotaged David Webb to get the first mercy trial going, and that's such a like big momentum piece for Mercy is to have their first person go through the trial. But also, I feel like another big major milestone in the mercy trials would be a wrongful accusation. So, for instance, Chris, he actually ended up proving his innocence and proving that the system is flawed. I'm
Mm-hmm.
surprised that Jack didn't try and sabotage him because if her mindset was the entire time that she liked the mercy trials and she did it to David, this would have been another crazy milestone if in my head if I was Jack that, oh no, if this cop proves his innocence and proves that the system is flawed, it's never going to keep going. So I'm surprised she didn't try and sabotage it to keep him in that chair.
But I can see how people would think that that's good too, that not everyone who goes through mercy has to be found guilty and be killed.
True, because then
Because
you'd
then
see
it just
more.
looks like a death trap. Like, I think people
Yeah,
need to see that it's possible to, like, overcome the system.
yeah, that's a good point.
Thanks.
All right, I'll keep going a little bit. I thought the animations in this movie were super cool. I loved all the technology. I would have loved to see this movie in 3D. I know there was a 3D option
Mm.
because when Chris was sitting in the chair, he was there was one point where he had like opened the messages of his wife's phone and all the icons were like kind of floating past his
Mm,
head and like a lot of the evidence was kind of floating around. I thought that would be
mhm.
super cool to see. And just those animations, even on the screen in general, were just
Yeah, that was really interesting. It was cool how he was, felt like he was in the room, but he wasn't actually even in there. And, like,
yes.
the video calls he could take, how it was literally, like, floating in front of his face. Like,
Yeah,
that's so weird.
yeah. That was
Yeah, that
crazy.
that movie would have been cool to see in 3D. I've never seen a movie in 3D.
I've only seen one movie in 3D and it was I believe Infinity War and or Avengers Infinity or Avengers Endgame. I don't know which one.
Mhm.
But one of those. I just have two more and then we can move on to negatives.
All right.
So the story, I've already kind of like said something about it, but I thought it was well written and it made total sense. Like, it wasn't just some made up situation. It didn't seem thrown together. It seemed like it all made sense. Like a lot of the evidence you were shown and a lot of like the stories that were told about Chris added up and it made him seem like he was the killer.
Mhm.
I feel like maybe towards the end the story got a little shaky. Like I think the end was rushed a little bit. I'll get more into that into the negatives. But then my last one is I liked how the daughter was sort of in the middle about the dad and not completely swayed on one way. And kind of what I
Yeah.
mean by this is um I would have kind of hated it if after, when he had FaceTime his daughter, I would have hated it if she just like instantly believed him, was like, "No, I know you would never do this," cuz that wouldn't make sense. And then I also liked how she wasn't completely like, "I hate you, dad. You definitely did this," cuz that doesn't make sense. Like, yes, maybe your dad had some ups and downs, but at the end of the day, he's your dad. So obviously you're going to have that pulling, you're going to have that contradicting feeling inside you like, "This is my dad and he's about to die." So you're going to like feel a lot of emotion of like love towards him in that situation. But then at the same time, everyone's saying that he killed your mom. So then you kind of got like two ropes pulling you in the middle. And I like that it was
Yeah.
balanced.
Yeah, I agree. I think it would be a difficult position to be in because she has watched her dad become like not much of a father figure. I think he
Yeah.
literally called himself a deadbeat and was verbally abusive to his wife and his daughter. So I'm sure it was hard for her to want to believe in him after
Yeah.
seeing the bad sides of him. But after losing her mom and realizing all she has left is her dad, I think that is what made her be like more open minded to it and like, oh, maybe he's not lying to me. Maybe he's telling the truth.
Yep. I agree. All right. Negatives. You ready?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay. I will say there are some corny actors. Jack is the main one. She
Hmm.
was by far, I'd say, the worst character in this. When the barn or the shed blew up, she literally goes, "Oh my goodness," as she's flying away. Like, are you
Yeah.
serious? You just watch all these people blow up and you almost die yourself. You're like, "Oh my goodness."
Oh my goodness. A barn just blew up in front of me. Yeah, that was a little cheesy.
I was surprised by that. I had already talked about how she made me so mad in the house. Oh, here's a point that got brought up. So I had searched up. I was trying to remember Rob, who I thought was the main villain in this movie, or the main bad guy. Turns out Jack is supposed to be the main villain, which I think if Jack is supposed to be the main villain of this movie, I don't think it was I don't think they did a very good job of reinforcing that, because when I'm looking back on this movie, I can, like, yes, in the end, Jack is the one who kind of started all of this mess by sabotaging that one guy, but Rob seems like the villain of the entire movie.
I think
So
that's
I
the point though, is for there to be a plot twist. I think you're supposed to think that Jack is a good person, and the plot twist is you realize, "Oh my gosh, like, she's been lying to everyone and, like, she's kind of being corrupt." That's the plot twist. I actually think that it makes sense how they had that buildup of you, like, not knowing that she was bad.
fair, but I think that it was just way too rushed. Like, they literally mentioned it for a quick minute. I don't
Yeah,
know.
because
Like,
then they
Maddie,
arrested her.
I don't know. I just think there could have been something better. It was literally just, and also I feel like Chris had come to that conclusion so quickly. Like, the guy had said, Rob had said that he was on the phone with someone talking about how he had his phone on him that night, and he instantly just goes, "Jack, was that you? Did you do this?" I just thought it was
Mm.
so rushed. Like, how did you come to that conclusion so quickly? And then he just arrested her, and she folded so quickly. I don't know.
Yeah.
It seems like she was such a terrible villain if she's supposed to be the villain, and it was just mid.
Yeah. I see where you're coming from.
So that's what got me. But like, also that goes along with my last negative is the David Webb thing and being framed. All that stuff was rushed so quickly. Like, yeah, you hear Rob saying how his brother was framed a bunch, but you don't really get to see how he got, like, you hear them say that she took the phone. You see a quick flashback of her not taking the phone from evidence and throwing it off the bridge. But
Mhm.
I wanted to see more. Like, I feel like you should have made her look even worse than she did. Because looking back at it, I still don't even think she's that like that mean, you know?
Yeah, and kind of to go along with that, because I feel like there could have been more explaining done there, and, like, people like, when I was watching it, I was also curious about, like, more that had gone on with what's his name? David Webb?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I feel like more explaining could have gone on there, and also, at the end of the movie, I don't even think they actually show you how the murder of Chris's wife, like, unfolds.
Yeah.
'Cause you hear about like, he admits to breaking the flower vase that's, like, on the ground.
Yep.
He's like, "Yeah, like, I came home, I was angry, you know, whatever." Like, he explains himself and why he came home from work when he did and stuff. But you never know, like, you know that Rob is hiding in the basement, but that's it. Like,
That is
you never figure out what actually happens, and I kind of wished that we would've, 'cause I think that that just would've been interesting.
I actually agree on that. I want to know how it happened. I feel like that was a big part they missed out on too.
Mhm. I agree. But
But
overall, I actually really enjoyed the movie. I found it very interesting, even though there were some little things that didn't add up.
and it was an hour and a half. It's your favorite.
Yep, that is my favorite.
All right, that's all I got for Mercy. How about you?
Yeah, that's all I've got.
Cool. All right, let's move on to the second movie of the episode. So, a movie that recently just came out, Return to Silent Hill. I personally think that this movie was super mid, not terrible, not great, just meh, based off of the video game, and it didn't knock my pants off. You know, what do you
What?
think, Libby? Didn't my stocks weren't flying off? You know,
Mine weren't flying off either, honestly. This movie was like, if I could describe to you this movie in one sentence, I would say, did you just hear that?
no,
Oh, my computer made a noise. If I could describe this movie in one sentence, I would say this movie has you, and then it loses you, and then it gets you back. There's
it's like
just
a roller coaster.
yeah, but not very exciting roller coaster. There's just that
Yeah,
lull in the middle, and the end really, I think the end was solid, but that middle, I was like, it was kinda hard to get through.
I agree. The yeah, we'll start with the positives.
Yeah.
We don't really have much to say about the movie just because it's me. But the twist was interesting, which was that this was like some psychotic break inside of his mind. That was pretty
Mhm,
interesting because
mhm.
the movie starts with what you think is just, him meeting his true love, but it was just like flashbacks and some psychotic break inside of his head.
Yeah, that was very interesting. It was like, because it totally stumped you. You totally thought that that was real life, and he was actually, like, encountering all these weird monsters and stuff. But yeah, when you realize that if you know the video game, you know that man with the triangle, like, mask, and
Yeah.
that's his mind. That's so interesting when you realize that.
Yeah, that was super cool because he kind of realized that this is me and I control
Mhm,
what's going on because this is my mind, and then he
mhm.
uses it. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Um, the I thought the whole cult thing was pretty interesting. It was a twist, another one where it was like, whoa, you don't really see that, and it adds the eeriness to the town Silent Hill because they always talk about how weird things happen. And that's definitely
Yeah.
weird for sure.
Honestly, I wasn't a fan of that. I feel like seeing cults in movies now, it's such an overused, like, element of, like, horror
Yeah.
movies or whatever. Like, of course, there's a cult with a family that's, like, crazy. Like,
Yeah, I suppose that's true.
I'm tired of seeing it. It's kinda like same old thing for me. It gets boring.
Yeah. That is valid. I can see that. The young girl being his ex girlfriend was interesting. So, this entire time, this young girl, her name was Laura, and it
Mhm.
turns out to be his ex girlfriend, Mary. and Laura was her middle name, and he ends up figuring that out in the end. It's like he
Mhm.
it's like he blocked off all this information from himself because he didn't want to believe that he had left her to die,
Mhm.
basically.
So did she actually die? Because
I
I
don't
know
know.
he
That
got to like restart with her, which I think was a positive. I was like very
I
happy
agree.
for him because you could
Yes.
tell he really cared about her a lot. Like he literally killed himself to be with her, or like attempted to kill himself, but then
Hmm.
like magically like time traveled back to the day that he met her and got to like remake his choices and stuff. I was really happy for him that he got to do that.
Yeah, which I'm also wondering how that really makes sense. I don't want to hear anybody in the comments flaming us. We haven't played the video game. We just watched the movie because it sounded cool. So
Mhm.
I don't want any like, oh, you're so stupid. I genuinely want to know, like, how does the ending make sense? Because this is supposed to be a psychotic break in his mind, but then how does he end up, redoing this whole thing with his girlfriend? Because, and then I agree, the ending was so solid because you see him also, he has memories of her, but she doesn't know him, which is why he ended up turning towards the new city that she was talking about going to instead of
Mhm.
back to Silent Hill. So I'm wondering how that works.
Maybe there's no explanation. Maybe it's just what the producers wanted.
I guess another just like you don't need to know this, but it just needs to be there type thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think that's stupid. I want to know.
Maybe he, maybe the whole thing was some weird nightmare he had, or maybe when
Hmm.
he first, oh, wait, crazy theory. Maybe when the
Oh,
truck almost hits him, it like scares him and he like totally, he like either zones out or he's like knocked out and he's unconscious or something. And he
yeah.
imagines this whole lifetime of falling in love, moving in with
Wait.
this girl, and then she becomes sick and there's a crazy cult and he moves away and he comes back and there's monsters and he kills her and then he kills himself and then he snaps back into reality and he's like, my gosh, like I need to save this girl. Maybe it was all just like a thing, like
That would
like
be
the show That's
great.
So Raven, where she can like predict the future. Maybe it was like that, like he could predict what was gonna happen.
That's an insane theory. If that is true, it makes the movie so much better.
Yeah, I don't think it's probably true though.
Let's just let's just think it, because that'll
Because if
make it
that,
better in my mind.
but if that was true, then it wouldn't make sense for him to like have all the knowledge of her when he time travels back and like and he's like at her suitcase and she's like, my name is, and he's like, Mary, I saw your name tag. Like, no, you didn't. You just remembered that.
Right.
That wouldn't make sense for him to have all those memories. So I think my theory is wrong, but it was really fun to think about for a second.
Maybe. But you know, you know what they say is your life flashes before your eyes. So maybe that was what's going on. He's about to
Yeah.
die, flash before his eyes. Have you ever heard that theory where like us right now, our lives that we are living isn't actually real? Like we could actually be in a situation where we're about to die and our life is just flashing before our eyes, and that eventually
Uh,
you don't believe
I
in
don't
it?
I don't believe that.
Imagine that though. Just think about that theory. Say you yourself live till, I don't know, let's just say 95 and you die of old age. And when your heart just goes you wake up and you're just in another like life or death situation. Like you're falling off a cliff and you're just like, "Oh my gosh." And that was you. Your life just flashed before your eyes. Isn't that crazy though? Think about it.
Yeah, but that's definitely not what's happening. I do know that when you die, you have like 7 minutes of brain activity still going on, but it's probably not like your memories.
Hmm.
It's probably your brain like doing everything it can to try to like wake you up. So it's probably actually like scary. Don't you think?
Could,
Like
yeah, probably is.
it's probably making your heart be like boom, 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 boom. And it's like move, 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 but you can't move because you're dead because your heart stopped. And so it's just giving signals to organs that don't work anymore.
You can't move because you're dead.
Sorry to shut down your theory, but it's not true.
Still a cool theory. All
Yeah.
right. Well, that's all I got about Return to Silent Hill. Just a boring, just a meh, just a kind of movie. Nothing crazy.
Yeah. Nothing too crazy. I do think it's like one of those where you watch it and you don't regret watching it, but it's not
Yeah.
something you would watch again.
Yeah. Like, honestly, it makes me want to play the video game because I want to know how similar it is to the movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't regret watching it.
I don't either. Well, I just had something I was gonna say. I can't remember, but you said video game, and I want to play the video game too to see if there are similarities.
Yeah.
Also, yeah, I like this is to the audience, you guys. Sometimes we go into these movies and they're part of like a series or something, or they're like based off a true story, and it's something we are not aware of. So
Yeah.
don't think that our takes are stupid. Actually, you should be open-minded to it because, like, for me to be talking about, for both of us, neither of us had played Silent Hill. So to be talking about the movie about Silent Hill, it's like now you can think about it from a new perspective of someone who has no idea about anything that has to do with the game.
That's actually so true because, I mean, someone who's played the game and loves the game is obviously going to be so biased towards this movie. They're gonna be like, oh, this movie's great. We've never played the
Hmm.
game. So we're going to give an honest take on the movie.
Hmm. Yes, we
Whereas, like,
are.
Dune, we love Dune. So Dune 3, we're probably already going to love it, you know?
Yeah, probably.
So that's the
But
thing.
that's for another time.
Yeah, that's another time. But, like, even with 28 years later, yeah, maybe we should have watched the first movie, but we didn't. And we gave an honest take about the second one in the series. So there you go.
Was it the second? I think it's the fourth.
Well, I don't think the other ones matter. Like I think 28 days later, 28 weeks later. I don't know if that's part of the 28 years later thing. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, maybe it's not. Because, okay, well, this is really random, but I was just gonna say, like, for the movie series, all the A Quiet Place movies, there's like, I think there's like two or three of them that are actually like, it's following the same family around.
Yeah.
But I think there's two. But then there's like the third one, and it's called A Quiet Place, A New Day. It's a completely random city, random people. Like that, you could go into watching that one without having watched the
Right.
first movies. But that's
Hmm.
not always the case for us, guys. Like sometimes we just jump right in
Yep.
because kind of our whole goal is to watch new movies.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess we could watch the first ones, but a great movie shouldn't require you to see, like, you should just understand what's going on.
Yeah.
So,
Like, do you
but
think if I hopped into a random, as a person who hasn't seen a single Marvel movie, do you think if I hopped into any random Marvel movie, I'd be able to understand what's going on? Or do you think I would have a billion questions and be like, what the heck am I watching?
so yes, you'd probably have a billion questions, but you'd still be interested in the movie because there are always new things going on
Mm.
that just make sense. Like, for instance, if you went into Avengers Doomsday without watching anything beforehand, which that would literally be a cardinal sin. I would never do that. But you probably could get away with it because, I mean, Doom is a brand new villain, and a lot of the good guys are, some of them are brand new. So I mean, it's just still going to be a regular action movie. So you don't really need to know a lot of, background, but it would be good to know. So
Mhm.
I mean, like, even with Star Wars, like, you could jump in and watch a Star Wars movie and not You don't need to know the background, and you could just,
Yeah.
watch people fight with lightsabers and shoot some laser guns, and it would still be
Yeah.
cool. But
That's true. You're right. Like a good series, you should be able to just hop in and not feel like you're too confused.
I feel like Dune, you probably couldn't though. I think you need to watch Dune 1 to understand Dune 2. What do you
Yeah,
think?
I think you're probably right. But people also don't think Dune is like as amazing as other movie.
Yeah, no, and it shows in the box office. Like, I don't think there's been a Dune movie that's made a bill. I think combined they've made a billion, but not one by itself. Will
Yeah.
Dune 3 make a billion? That's a question.
Bro, it's probably just us glazing it and no one else thinks it's actually that good.
No, there's definitely. Where are all my Dune lovers at? There are definitely people who love Dune.
Yeah.
I want to see that. Everyone right now, comment down below. Do you love Dune? Everything we've said so far, is it a good take? Did we have good takes on Mercy? Did we have good takes on Return to Silent Hill? Let us know down in the comments. That's everything I've got though. How about you?
Yeah, that's everything I've got.
All right. Well, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure to like, subscribe. We're going to come out weekly episodes, so make sure to check it out. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, we actually just got on Amazon as well, so check us out there. Pop in next week. We don't know what we're going to do, but we're going to have another new movie to review. So thank you guys for watching.
We'll see you guys next time.